Okay, so yeah. So we'll start with the basics. Since there are many Y23s in this project as well, so I will simply request you all to go through this doc. And if you haven't installed VS Code yet for any project of yours, so you can simply install it from here. Here's a tutorial as well for the same. And there are also many extensions that we will be keep on using for this for the whole project throughout. So you can also refer to this for that. And if there's anything that you need, we can always clear that up in the group. So let's start with the basics. Now we will be covering the basics of HTML, CSS, JavaScript in this session only. And I'll not be teaching everything that you need. I will just be giving you the resources. And because this is a very short project and you only have 1 month, so we'll have to go a little bit fast because we need to, our end goal is React and Firebase mainly. So, firstly, we have HTML. Whatever you see on this website, like this extensions tab, this session block, everything that you see on this website, it is basically built up by HTML, and CSS is what is making all the styling on this. The color on this web page, the font styles and all, and the alignment, how these objects are aligned, everything is done by CSS. So HTML is basically to create everything as the building block, and CSS is to give style to it. Right? These are all the links I have attached for everything. I prefer you guys to use MDN web docs. I'll just open it once. MDN web doc. These docs are really well made, and I highly recommend you to study HTML, CSS, JavaScript, anything you need from these dogs. These are the best available resources for you guys. And other than that, some things you can even try you can try using W3 schools for that. That is also a very good resource. And you can always find a very good YouTube video for teaching you all the basics. We won't be covering the basics in a very deep manner because of the time constraints, right? So we have the CSS basics now. CSS is mainly for the styling, and sometimes we require a particular block to be styled differently. Like, suppose we have this session one. Now, we can see that it has a different weight. It is a slightly bolder than other file, edit, view, these blocks, and it also has a bigger font size. So how were we able to achieve this? Because of CSS selectors. The main thing that you need to care about in CSS is how you can selectively uh, style a different block, right? And all the other things are not quite much used. So we'll only I need you all to basically go through all the basic attributes, font styles, colors, alignments, and there's also one thing, responsive CSS. Now suppose I simply do one thing, that I shrink the screen and I shrink it to the size of a mobile. I don't want my user to feel that the content is very shaggy and doesn't hold its true form now. So I want the styles and the content to adapt accordingly, right? So for that, we require responsive CSS. Responsive CSS, what it does is, suppose these are file, edit, view, insert. And if I start shrinking the screen from right to left, so it will basically try to just keep start making it vertical. It will firstly form half of it and make fewer blocks and blocks and try to make it vertically. Right. Now, Bootstrap is a huge library which you can use for a lot of stuff. I will show you once. Hmm. Bootstrap is basically just these big chunks of data that you can simply copy paste, and it will give you a specific style of components. Like you can see the home profile and contact, right? This was basically built by just this code of block. So you can use Bootstrap for very fast coding, and very good styles are available over here. Right. Moving on, we have the JavaScript now. JavaScript is majorly used for all the actions that you're going to take. Suppose you have to make a calculator which will add two numbers. When you suppose you write something over here, there's a block of space. Over here, you write something, and there's another block of space, you write something, and there's one block of space where you need to store that data. So what you it is exactly what you do in C or C++, whichever you are comfortable with. So you basically make functions and try to use them to solve your problems. Right. So you'll have a lot of things when you go on further. Like suppose this is just a basic example of addition. This can even scale up to making server-side requests, and you can you want some data to be fetched from a website, and you want it to be shown on your website. So you can simply write a function for that in JavaScript, and that will be implemented easily. Right. So the major things you need to check in this are the control flow, which is basically the if else part. The functions are very immensely important in JavaScript. Modules, promises, JSONs. You might have heard of JSON objects all the time. And JSX is the major markup language that we are going to use for React. So I would highly recommend that you guys go watch this. Huh. And web APIs. I need you all to definitely read all this from MDN Web Docs. Okay. And you can check out the blog that I have given over here to simply go through what is React, and basically how why are we using React, right? So we will go for React further on in this project. Currently we'll mainly focus on HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So here is the task list that I'm going to give you, and I recommend you not to use ChatGPT at the beginning of this course, because I know you will be using it later on when the codes get harder to read and you have a lot of bug fixing, and nowadays everyone tries to prefer ChatGPT over simple print statements and debugging. So I would suggest you to do this on your own, and try to refer MDN Web Docs and any other online resource that you can find. So basically, first you need to install VS Code on your laptop, right? And then you make a simple website. You will add 4 sections to that website. First section will be all about introducing yourself and what the website is about. And second section will be a simple form, just to make you familiar with how forms are made in HTML. You will make a form which will ask for at least 5 fields, and it will have a submit button, right? And you make a third section. It will have at least 3 rows of 5 images. With it will have some caption, and I want you to take those images from online resources and attach the link of that image under that caption, so that you get familiar with hyperlinks and all in HTML as well. And finally, make a fourth section for a table, so that you are familiar with the tabular form of representation in HTML, right? And you just take your previous semester's timetable and make a table out of it. This is just a regular website which will make you familiar with how to use uh, HTML and CSS in a more familiar manner to you. So now, when this much is done, you will start applying CSS as much as you can. You will change all the background colors, make the give the divs a good color, and change the dimensions according to you, whatever looks good, right? And try to change the fonts and all as well. And you will also need to check out CSS selectors and all, right? You can make a class, you can make an ID, and you can collectively select all the paragraphs or all the divs, and a particular div and something like that. So I want you all to do this for at least 5 things. Try out CSS selectors, and you will finally upload this assignment on your GitHub. Okay. So this is all I needed to tell you. I will share this talk on WhatsApp and Discord. Okay. Now I'll start taking up the doubts. Yeah. Okay, which is the best resource? MDN Web Docs. I prefer MDN Web Docs over W3 Schools because it is written in a very good manner, and W3 Schools just does the work. Huh. For that, I will share this doc, and also you will have to submit the assignment by Friday night. Tomorrow will be Thursday, so I expect you guys to do this in 2 days, because like this was supposed to be a project on React, so I was hoping that you can catch up with this very soon, because it will get very hard if we take up too much time on HTML, CSS, and JavaScript only. Right. Are there any more doubts about the assignment or anything else? And about the where will the submit button direct to? We have not covered backend yet. So we will be taking that up later when we have completed the discussion about Firebase and all. Class schedule, basically you just make Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all that, and just on the particular time of the day you make like you make rows of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday,